Hello, thank you for joining me for another video beer review then. So today we've got another beer from the DC Brau Brewing Company. They're out of Washington DC, and this is a can of the Corruption American IPA, or it's actually saying it's a Pacific Northwest IPA. 6% in a can. There is some other information we'll go to in a minute. So a bit about the name of the beer, I guess, what this one is all about. In 1824, Speaker of the House Henry Clay forged a coalition that secured the White House for John Quincy Adams. In return, Adams named Clay as his Secretary of State in what became known as the Corruption Bargain. There you go. Pointless information, it's still a beer at the end of the day. You get these kind of things. Yeah, they can be educational, I guess, some of these beer names, but that's the deal with the name. So the Corruption IPA is a DC Brau's or Brew's take on a Pacific Northwest IPA, brewed with pale two-row, C10, honey, and Victory malts, exclusively hopped with 40 pounds of Columbus hops per brew to ring in 80 IBUs. 80 IBUs, so it's quite a bitter beer. So it's definitely on that more West Coast style with that kind of bitterness. This isn't going to be for everyone. It's one of those deals. Home bargains in the UK, £1.89 a can for a 12 fluid ounce cans at 12.5, whatever, a 355ml can. I have been drinking a hell of a lot of this, I have to say. I'm just getting around to reviewing some of them now. I don't know how many trips I've made to Home Bargains, which is just down the road, and bought a load of these. So I've had this beer before, it's safe to say. Let's crack it open and stop gassing. That beer in a glass. So it's not going to be one of them hazy things. It's more of a kind of a, let's just see, darker, kind of almost blood orange. This side of the camera anyway. Not a fleshy blood orange, but you know what I mean. So it's a half a finger of just off-white, slightly tinged yellow head on my side. It looks kind of hazy where you're at. It may be a bit of chill haze. It's not long out the fridge either, that kind of deal. So you've got that going on. But in the light, yeah, you can see through the glass. You know, you've got that kind of, you can see it really. It's not one of them kind of real bright juice bombs. Give it a swirl and a sniff, then see what we get out of this. I don't know if there's any more information. We'll go into that in a minute. So let's get a nose on this thing. Yeah, I mean, as I say, I've had this beer so many times. It's been my go-to for the last month, I have to say. I don't know how many cans I've drunk of this. I reckon it's probably in the region of 30 to 40 cans I've had in the last 4 to 6 weeks. I've had a hell of a lot of it. Price point, ABV, it's 80 IBUs. 6%, 80 IBUs, £1.89 a can from America. And it tastes like a... Anyway, we'll get into that. Anyway. So yeah. Piney. It's got that kind of jammy, marmalade-y edge. Not too sweet. I've had sweeter kind of aromas from kind of West Coast beers. But even still, it's 6%. It's not one of them 7-8% kind of West Coasties where they can get really intense jam, blah blah blah, dank, pine, resin, that kind of deal, big grapefruit punch. It's not one of those. It's 6%, as I've said. What you are getting is a very nice kind of light pine, grapefruit, citrus, slightly kind of jam, maybe marmalade is a bit of a stretch. Slightly dank. Nice. Let's give it a try. Cheers. You get that initial bitter shock to the palate. Kind of a slightly apricot jam. I wouldn't say marmalade. It's not a marmalade-y apricot jam. A slight blood orange. bitter resin, sappy hop presence from this. As I say, Columbus hops in this, 40 pounds of Columbus hops per brew. I don't know what the scale of that is in, but it's 80 IBUs. I mean, and for me it's bitter. So for someone who's getting into IPAs, etc., it might be too bitter for you. But like, oh, that's so bitter. So perhaps not. Which is even more amazing that it's become available in Home Bargains, one of the kind of slightly discount stores here in the UK. I'm all for it personally, but if you're new to it, yeah, that could be an issue. Maybe try, as I said, I've done a review of the DC Brau. They're in session just before this one. So that might be something to go for, depending on where your palate is at and all that kind of deal. If you're used to bitterness in your beers, then great, have at it. It's one of those sort of deals, really. But as I say, I've been drinking a hell of a lot of this in the last 6 weeks, so it's been, it's the price point, and it's a good half decent beer, and it is. This can is no different. So other flavour notes then, yeah, there's a nice kind of grapefruit edge, citrusy. It's kind of in the mid-range of the body-wise, sort of, yeah, medium body, upper end medium body. You are getting a kind of residual, nice kind of, citrusy orange, piffy orange thing going on in there, right in the middle of the palate, and the bitterness does hang around on the palate. Not going to lie, it should do. It's 80 IBUs. The human palate can only go up to 100, so anything above 100. But to me, it's not crazy bitter. I've had more kind of bitter beers in the past. But this is, the fact that this is in the supermarket, I've been all over it. Out of all of the beers, and there's been quite a few beers in Home Bargains from the States, this has been probably my favourite, and I've pretty much tried all of them, but I'm still going to try and do a review of them all. So we'll see how it goes. So spoiler alert. So final thoughts then, get on this. I do want to shout out as well, we'll get into that in a minute. I mean, obviously I've had lots of this beer, so I'm going to say, if you like your kind of West Coast style beers, this is definitely one to go to, for sure. 6%, not crazy ABV wise, but it's 80 IBUs. It's bitter wise, it's there. Great stuff. If this was all year round in the UK, I'd be buying it all of the time, but it's not going to be. That's why I've been drinking lots of it, because I know it's on borrowed time here in the UK. So August of 2023. So, and it's been around since July. So anyway, enough about that. Any other information about the beer, and then we'll get on to shout outs after. This beer straddles the line between IPA and Imperial IPA. 6. And has a supportive malty backbone with an assertive hop presence, smacks you in the mouth with a dank, resinous bitterness, followed by pleasant aromas of pine sap and burnt spruce. Bit sprucey, I guess, but anyway, I want to shout out the Brewers Association, who got these beers, the American Brewers Association no less, got these beers into the UK. Brilliant, at really affordable prices. So it can be done. It's obviously done on mass scale, but it just shows you what can be done if certain beers come over in bulk. Maybe hopefully it will open the floodgates for same breweries to do maybe some of their specials, or other breweries to bring in some of their kind of core range beers into the UK. Could be an avenue to go for sure. So yeah, big shout out to Lottie Penlow. She's the European arm of the American Brewers Association. Very, very nice lady indeed. And if you're at the London Craft Beer Festival, she's generally, or any of the We Are Beer festivals, they've always got their stand there, and she's always present. Awesome. Anyway, let me know if I've had this one before then. So from DC Brau Brewing Company out of Washington DC. This is their Corruption IPA, one of their core range beers at 6% in the can at least, and I think it's 6.5 on draft. Don't hold me to that. Anyway, let me know about it before. I think it's fantastic. See you on the next one. Cheers.